These radio buttons were a great idea, Bo.
That they were, Mike.
Pretty neat to be able to just sit here right beside you in the sky and just talk to you, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, this video is going to be dedicated to talking about our comm setup, on how we use our radios when we fly and how it's mounted into the headset, and the modifications that we've built.
So you start with the Walker Razor Slim headset, and it's got an audio jack on the bottom. Walker also makes a radio, a two-way radio that mounts on the side of their headphones. So that audio jack there simply slides and plugs in the headset. A little clip on the top, snaps right together. And so basically that's the setup. The problem that we found though is that the push to talk button is on the rear, and you have to actually
Activate it with your thumb.
So that takes your hands off the controls. So Bo came up with the idea of having a button in our off hand, not our throttle hand, and basically I've wired that in so that now using the push button
In our off hand, we activate the radio. So that's how we communicate hands-free on the controls while we're flying.
So I've taken it apart and I've soldered two wires on to the circuit board to replace the button, but it doesn't actually replace the button. The button itself still works. This just gives you a second option. This is what it looks like as final product. I've just got the wires secured to the bottom of the piece, and this whole thing comes off and is self-contained. There's nothing attaching it to the helmet permanently, because you have to be able to remove it in order to replace the batteries. The other thing different that Lucas pointed out, which I had noticed before, is the length of the microphone boom. It's not quite long enough to reach to your mouth. It's still on the side of your face. So this is the microphone original, and this is the microphone extended. So what we come up with was to replace the original end with an extension. So it basically puts the microphone an inch further, an inch longer, closer to your mouth. And then rather than just being open-ended, the original, the sound comes in the end of the microphone. What we did as the design was we put a cup on the end so that the microphone basically is pointed towards your mouth and only catches the sound coming from your mouth. So it would now look like this. And then you put a dead cat, thanks to Uncle Buck for the suggestion, and you get the final product. They also make gel replacement ear cups for the Walker Razor, and so I bought Bo a pair of those and he's loving them, so I'm about to retrofit all of ours with those. So the original design me and Bo had come up with was to have a plug-in connection here so that you could still dismount or detach this radio to change the batteries or whatever. And then we had a permanent cable that runs behind our helmet, zip ties to this side, and we have a 2-foot long tail permanently attached to our helmet. And to stow it, we would just tuck it underneath this strap. And then on our paramotor, we have a permanently attached cord zip tied to our swing arm that runs to our button. And that stays attached to our paramotor. So now when we clip into our motor, one of the steps plug it together. And once again, that's just to keep anything from possibly going through your netting and catching your propeller. But as we started to build these for Matt and Lucas, we thought, well, what if they don't want to permanently attach a cable to their paramotor swing arm? And so that's when we decided to do it all attached to the headset itself. And so we just have the one plug-in. It runs through a Velcro strap on the back. You have a shoulder strap, simply put on like a sleeve. And goes to your hand. And that will do the same thing as tying it off to your swing arm. It'll keep it from developing a loop that you can push through your netting into your propeller.
For the sake of heck, this is the system we use to record the audio. It's simply one of the radios whose microphone I mutilated to figure out how to make the extension. And we have a simple connection, a female audio jack to a male, plugged into this recorder. Turn the radio on, set record, and then it records anything that comes over the radio on channel 11. So once I've got it recording, I lay the recorder on the bottom on a foam pad, lay another foam pad over top of that, lay my radio on top of that, close my box, and then this will go underneath my paramotor in a bottom pocket along for the ride. Here's a rough comparison of the old versus the new microphone me and Bo performed.
This is going to be cruise throttle, about right here. How about cruise throttle? How's this? This is on full throttle. Full throttle, how you hear?
The difference isn't massive, but over time through the videos, I think it'll start to show.